What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I gotta be honest with y'all. I don't think Drake is gonna be able to recover from everything that we saw happen to him. Not just because of the beef, because we all know a beef is just a beef. And Drake is still an entertainer. I get that. We're gonna cover it. This video is called How Drake Just Made the Worst Mistake of His Entire Career. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. Let's go ahead and watch this.
Point we are at, as Drake is having one of the worst weeks of his entire career because of just how
Poor
much
Drake,
the Super
man.
Bowl has humiliated his entire name. Unlike real greats who, when they are down, try to win back people to their side and do something that may be a step in the right direction, Drake is only marking his territory further and further in the losses he has already taken. And now, while Drake has been embarrassing non-stop after the Grammys and Super Bowl, and we have all seen this, with what Drake has just done and what he is about to follow it up with, he isn't just doing something anymore that is making us all laugh at him even more for being the biggest loser in hip-hop, but he has made a mistake so bad that he has angered and been put within the worst light possible from the people who made him the star who he became in the first place.
Let's
and
hear
of course,
it.
I am talking about his label UMG. As
I
now,
thought talking
beyond
about black
Drake
people.
even suing them, Drake managed to make things even worse as he just made this beef personal within the strangest way between him and the head of the label, Lucian. And now, between what Drake did, which just disrespected the wrong person, and the fact that he is now about
Yeah, Lucian, you know, that's Daddy Lucian. Hold on, you can't disrespect Pause, but you know what I'm saying? That's the nigga that feeds you.
to release his new album and try to prove that he is bigger than his label in the industry, although we all know he is not. What is now?
What's crazy, I don't listen to Drake, but I'll typically hear the music or I'll be aware of it. I didn't even know that this album came out until like an hour ago, and I haven't heard it, obviously. So that, to me, that says a lot, because normally when Lucian and UMG is behind it, that shit is in your face. That the second you open Spotify, that shit is playing normally.
Clear is that beyond whatever else Drake has done in the past, he has officially made sure that he is never going to have a career, and the industry is about to make an example out of him so bad. But now, before we go any further into all of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And so at this point, it really seems like he doesn't even want to have a career anymore, because there's just no way you can make this many awful decisions for the betterment of your career as a whole. Because once again, after losing nearly everything, Drake is making the same mistake that made Pusha T embarrass him, Kendrick Lamar take away everything he ever had, and has even made LeBron never speak to him again, and in all honesty, within a way that is much weirder and more off-putting is when it comes to Drake and UMG right now, as Drake is back on his plot twist account and is trying to hype up his new album with Party Next Door, which in of itself, and just to show how many problems Drake is having,
Can I just say really quick though, I do believe if Drake was to go independent, which we know will never happen. Drake will never go independent. But I believe he could make a good living off of being independent. I just don't think he'll be able to have mega mansions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Drake will ever just be broke. I just want to say that.
Just to care about that record at all. Drake is now making strange posts to try and get some sort of attention for this record, and while he was trying to build an aesthetic for what is about to become his lamest album, the post that got the most attention was a picture that Drake posted of Lucian's daughter-in-law Sofia Richie, and when everyone saw Drake do this, and was questioning that if after losing to every single other person he has to this point and making them as angry as they did because he involved their families, why would he do this now against the most powerful person in the industry? Overall, while Drake's remaining fans may think he is standing up to the industry and is tough for this, we all just see this as another losing move that, beyond being weird, considering the actual effects that angering the people you are messing with can have.
It is weird, bro. When niggas start posting niggas' daughters and shit and family members, yeah, that shit weird, bro. That's weird.
On this entire move just doesn't seem well thought out at all. But really, none of Drake's other moves have been in the first place.
Drake don't know how to beef right.
Be surprised. And now, beyond Drake's obsession with making all of his feuds and standoffs that are over his career so personal, the question we need to ask is if Drake realizes that in this time where between both the success that Kendrick Lamar is seeing, as he is literally breaking every record on the charts, and even other artists who he has beef with like The Weeknd, who just did record numbers with his new album, that overall, beyond the competition of dropping right in this time where the biggest stars who you compete with have never been elevating their careers and names higher, that now you are not just going to have to stand off against and follow up the time where Kendrick Lamar has 5 songs in the top 10 on the Billboard and the entire top 3, and 3 top 10 albums to make things even harder, and the highest monthly listener count from a rapper. And
yo, Kendrick is getting bread. Kendrick is rich as hell. I never really thought about that shit.
Because that keeps going up and so much else. But when it comes to the label that has made sure that every single one of your albums up to this point performed the way it was supposed to, even when the quality was lacking. And of course, you already have major problems with. Drake just made things so much harder as he took this feud to an entire new level, which is without a doubt gonna solidify that for the first time in Drake's career. This record is not going to get pushed the way his past albums were, which means that it won't be forced onto every playlist and trying to have every single draw that it possibly can, which overall will then make this music, which already sounds so lacking, have the very difficult...
Stop the video. If you would, just consider following me on Instagram and Spotify. I got a goal. I'm trying to get to 2,000 monthly listeners, and after that, I'm trying to get to 5,000 monthly listeners. Y'all have been great, man. I really appreciate y'all. All right, back to the video.
Task of standing on its own for the first time in Drake's entire career since he has been in the actual industry. And I mean, considering the fact that Drake's fans are making a push and full-on plan on how to support Drake and this new album because even they are scared of having to defend the mess that he has made and they do not believe that he can put up numbers.
Hey, that's a good fan base right there, though. That's what I want, bro. Anybody that decides to fuck with me on the music shit, I need that kind of support, bro. That's what's up. Like I said, though, I know for a fact that if Drake went independent, he could still make a living, bro. And if he has some good investments already, he'll be straight, bro. Like, fuck, I feel it. Fuck Lucien. Fuck UMG. This the one time I'm going to say it, bro. Fuck him, bro. I'm with you, Drake. This the only time I'm going to say it, though.
Numbers like he did in the past. Because otherwise they would not be making an organized effort to support this thing. This is really showing just how bad of a position Drake is in right now, because with the fact that the most delusional fan base in hip-hop is now starting to see the reality of where their favorite artist is at, which is of course not a good one. It is just starting to create the final chapter in what is going to be the moment that is going to end Drake's career once and for all, because with Drake releasing an album in this time, we're now beyond him losing all of his hype as an artist. Because more than ever, we saw the people are pretty much done with him for the most part at the Super Bowl. He has now just made the last thing that, as we all know, can make careers still look like they are going strong even when they are not. Just have no reason to not just never support you again, but in actuality work against you. Because again, as Drake is now making this beef and standoff he is having with his label go to the most personal level, as he is bringing the head of UMG's daughter-in-law into the public eye, and is now having his
that's not a good move.
Talking about her and giving her unnecessary attention within this time where everything around Drake is just starting controversy and problems. Overall, Drake really was not thinking with this one, and he is going to regret this. As again, with people like Kendrick and Pusha T, this tactic beyond not just working in a lyrical back and forth is just a strange way to even confront someone you have a problem with. And it really only adds to the things that Kendrick said about Drake in the first place, as Drake really does look to pick on everybody around the person he is beefing with.
Yeah, that's what I think is weird about it. I know he just said it, but I'm just saying, like, why are you, when niggas start posting daughters, sisters and shit, like moms, it's weird to me, bro. It's lame.
Him directly, and overall, while he thinks he gets a gotcha moment out of this, in actuality, he looks weak for not going at the person straight on.
Exactly.
And then he makes the person he is against, like Kendrick and Push, just diss him even harder. And so all in all, beyond this being weird behavior, which is
horrible
showcasing
tactic.
The fact that Drake has never needed to grow up more than ever, because how are you still doing this thing, and especially when the consequences of doing so have never been higher? In the bigger picture of this all, we are going to look back at this moment as the very time that is going to make the industry not just refuse to ever help Drake, work with him again, and of course give him that ridiculous deal that he wants that even Taylor Swift doesn't have. But it's also going to make sure that this split Drake has from his label and in this era we are heading in is not an easy one for him, because I am sure they are going to make this record for him as difficult as possible to get out and perform even a fraction of what he has done in the past, as they are not just going to give him no support, but they're going to end up doing the exact opposite of that. And I mean, even before we get this album, this is why, while we know this collab album with Party and Drake is being released under Drake's OVO sound imprint, which is not connected to UMG, we don't know, because of this weird setup, how much Drake is going to be blocked by the industry, and even if he is actually...
Can Drake be blackballed? I think anybody could be blackballed, bro. But specifically Drake, yeah, I think he can, bro, because without the industry push, I don't think there's a Drake effect. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Drake's features are going to go as far as they used to. So, but not totally blackballed. Like I said, I do think Drake will be able to, like, do some things on his own, Just like how the baby wasn't able to be blackballed, so Drake can't totally fully be blackballed.
Allowed to release this album under the terms he is currently in, because there is a rumor that despite this album being pushed as a collab album as we know it, that because of the tricky position Drake is in, that has only been made worse because of every single thing he has done.
This is the album with Party Next Door. I will definitely listen to this. By the time y'all are watching this video, I will have heard that album.
That he won't even be able to be credited on the record, or that he will have to be listed as a feature. But I mean, no matter how this album ends up coming out, with now Drake making sure that this beef between him and his label is only going to get a lot worse, as he did the same thing to the head of his label that made him lose in some of the biggest rap beefs that have ever happened of all time. Again, while maybe he thinks this pettiness gave him a cool post for his remaining fans, and maybe he thinks that this will make people want to listen to this album for some reason, beyond the games, when it comes to people who control the music industry and who have controlled and put Drake within the place to succeed the way he did for years, despite the fact that the quality of what he was releasing was down for so long. When you put all these pieces together, when you put all these pieces together and realize just how many problems Drake has made, which despite what his fans will tell you are all because of his own doing. Well, overall, with Drake no longer having the power he used to, this album isn't just going to flop on its own, because really, just think to yourself, when has there ever been a Drake record coming out that has had this little hype for it? But even beyond the failure that was inevitable, as Kendrick said, it's game over, and Kendrick has never...
Game over. Damn, Kendrick. On so many levels, that Super Bowl show resonated with me, bro. And it seems like every day there's something else that you can tie back into that hoe. Like, I swear we're going to be talking about that performance for a long time.
Ascended into a higher #1 spot, all while Drake has never been in a worse place. Even beyond Drake's own failure, the industry is going to make everything for him look way worse. All because he took this entire beef he is in with them to an entire new level. And now as we are finally about to get this new record from Drake and P&D, and it will be the first record, of course, that we have heard from Drake since he has lost everything. What is now very clear is that this record is bound to be one of the biggest failures we have ever seen from a rapper at this level, because ultimately, and what is going to bring this entire downfall for Drake full circle, and maybe what will finally teach him a lesson, is that all these games and petty antics he has been doing, instead of just locking in and trying to make good music, is going to be his ultimate downfall.
For sure.
Because in this time, and after losing so much, and after doing nothing to make things just look a little bit better, he is now at the point where he is trying to put out an entire album without ever actually doing any of the work you need to make a proper comeback record in the first place. And now with all of the problems Drake has made, what is so clear is that when this record releases, from the fact that Kendrick Lamar may end up getting the #1 spot on the charts even without any new music because of all the Super Bowl hype, to the fact that now between both the paperwork he has sent out to the personal place he has brought things to, his label actually has every single reason to make sure the worth of Drake in the industry has never been lower.
But they say that was the plan the whole time, was to lower the value of Drake. That was the conspiracy that people don't know is going on. Maybe I should make a video about it. But let me know how y'all feel about this, man. I need to know, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation. That's what this channel's for. Leave a comment down below. Let me know. But, yeah, bro, Drake is really, like I said, I don't think Drake will recover from this, bro. But